What is up, my family? Are you ready for another dope and lit lesson? Sweet. Well, today we are going to talk about lower thirds, creating lower thirds. Basically, a lower third is any information that you see in a video in the lower third of the screen. The lower third of the screen. So, example, this old Studio 203 production from November 7th. When the names pop up here, Garrett's name and Kobe's name, that is an example of a lower third. We have, so if we see, it kind of animates in here, and it has Garrett and Kobe's name, it has a Quaker Sam logo and like an opaque gray box behind it. There's a lower third. You see lower thirds all over the place, like news channels, or like when you're watching a game, a football game or basketball game or something, they give you the score in the lower third of the screen. That's the whole idea. So anyways, here, and this isn't really a great example. It was made in like 2 minutes in Premiere. Did I say Premiere? In Premiere. Didn't really spend a lot of time with it, but it serves its purpose. Kind of a nicer example here. This is the one we're going to be recreating today. There you go. So isn't that sweet? Oh my gosh, so dope and so lit. It's Gucci, as Garrett would say. Learned that from Garrett. Thanks, Garrett. Anyways, kind of animates in here. This I made because I think that we should have this stuff. Like, we should have a Twitter page and a Facebook page and Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff. So we can put them up on Studio 203. So anyways, I made this. This is what we're going to recreate. So let's do it, Bobby. Go into After Effects and create a new composition down here. Create new composition. That's French for composition. And I'm going to call this, sorry, I was watching the football game there. I thought Seattle scored, but they didn't. All right, I'm going to call this main and make it 1920 by 1080 standard HD, and we're going to make it black. Whoops. Make it black. Okay, and then right away, well, first thing I'm going to do is bring in the logo. You're going to bring in a logo for this. You could use whatever logo you want. I am going to use, actually, I'm not going to do that. Let's go grab another logo. I was going to just recreate that Twitter one, but what's the fun in that? Let's make one for Instagram. So when you're searching for a logo, you want to make sure you're searching for PNG type of logo. That just means that there's no background there. So if I look at images, and if I click on this one, you can see two ways you can tell it's PNG. One, by that gray and white checkerboard in behind the logo. That just means there's no background there. Or if you right click and hit Save Image As, it should say PNG, and it does. So we're going to call this Instagram logo, and we'll save it to the desktop. That's good. Boom. Kabam. Kapow. Now we want to bring it into the composition, or into After Effects, I should say, into the project. So we'll just double click here in the project panel, and there she is. Instagram logo PNG. Double click. It comes in, and we will drop that bad boy right into our new composition. Okay, and let's move it over here into the lower third. All right, now we're going to create a new solid. So right click down here, right click, new solid, and we will call this rectangle. And 1920 by 1080, that's good. Now this time the color does matter. So we are going to steal, I think I already did that. Just click on the eyedropper there and we will steal this color here. Boom. That's Instagram pink right there. It's a new color. Okay. Now what I want to do, I'm going to move the logo above so I can see it. But then I want to make sure I click back here on the rectangle. Have that layer highlighted, and then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to draw a mask. So I'm going to click the rectangle tool. Kaboom. You don't have to make a rectangle, but I'm going to. And we're going to draw out a rectangle like that. Boom. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the direct selection tool and click off the screen here, and that's looking pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Actually, I'm going to make it a little, well, yeah, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click on that layer, and if I just double click, click a couple times there, I have the ability to, you can do it by scale. You can go in to transform and change the scale, but if I just double click, it's easier. Make that a little bit thicker, and we'll go out there. All right, to make sure before I start duplicating layers and all that jazz, let's add some text, shall we? Right click, new. Actually, okay, I'm just going to click on the text tool right here, and I'm going to type in all caps, and I'm using Lato because I think Lato looks pretty good. Oh, the Seahawks did score. 12-7 Hawks. All right. Anyways, let's say, what shall we say? Follow us on Instagram. Boom. And that's way too big, so we click on this arrow here. We're going to make that smaller. Whoops. When you do that with caps locks on, it's not going to show up. So turn caps lock off. Yo. That looks good. 20, let's make it 25 possibly. And we'll move it down here. Maybe the logo needs to be bigger, yo. Maybe. Yeah, let's make the logo bigger. We're gonna make the logo bigger. And then we will scoot this out. And we'll make that a little bit bigger. Possibly. A little bit longer. Yo, that's good. And then we'll take the logo and put that there. And then we'll take our text and we'll put it here. And now we're cooking with gas. All right, pretty good. And then we're gonna make another text layer. And we're gonna, I don't even know if this name's taken, but we'll pretend that it's not taken and say that our handle will be Studio 203. And we can make that bigger, dude. Let's make it like 40-ish. Again, with the caps lock. 45? 42? Let's try 42. At Studio 203. I think I did that reverse on the Twitter one, didn't I? That was dumb. Yeah, that was stupid. Studio 203 should be in here, and then it should say follow us, because this is like the main, like it should be highlighted, because that's the, whatever. You don't know me. All right, follow us on Instagram. There's at Studio 203, and we shall make this before. This is important. Before we start duplicating layers, we got to get everything the way we want it. So if I double click, I'll make it a little bit skinnier and a little shorter, and then I'm going to move it down, and then I'm going to click on the Studio 203, And I'm going to center that up. Right? You can use the arrows too on your keyboard. Alright, that looks kind of nifty, rad, dope, awesome. Okay. Now, what do I want to do? First of all, I am going to hide all of these layers except the rectangle. Or I could just solo the rectangle. That would be a lot easier. If you want to hide layers, you just click on these eyeballs. Boop. Boop. That gets rid of them. Or you can click on this little guy here and I'll solo it. So now I just have that rectangle. Alright, what I want to do, highlight it and click Control D to duplicate it. Boom, duplication. And then I can rename this one to, I just hit enter. I have it highlighted and hit enter to change the name. I will call this light. Rectangle light. Okay, and now I want to change the color of it to be a little bit lighter, because if you notice here, which you probably didn't, you see when this starts animating, boop, we have this one rectangle that's a little bit lighter than that color. So it looks like that. You gotta make sound effects with it. Anyways, that's what we're doing here. So to do that, we're gonna go with this rectangle lights layer selected. We'll go up to layer, solid settings, and we'll double click on this Instagram pink and we'll make it lighter. Like that, y'all. I like that, y'all. And hit OK. And we'll hit OK. And then we want that to be behind. Boom. Behind it. Perfecto. Now we're going to duplicate the rectangle light layer. So with rectangle light selected, Control D. And then we will zoom in. So you can take the magnifying glass and zoom in. That was no good. That was no bueno. Or with like your 2 fingers on the trackpad, you can zoom in. Or if you have a mouse, zoom in with the scroll wheel. Alright, now what we want to do is double click here on the rectangle light, the duplicated rectangle light. So that's the wrong one. We'll move this to the bottom. And we'll call it border. We will rename this Border Wars. Boom, border. So highlight it, go up here, double click, and what we're going to do is just, see, I made that a different color so it was easier to see. We're just going to make it a little bit thicker than the original. So it's like a border. Okay. Looking good, looking good. By the way, does that look good? Yeah. Good, good, good. Looks dope, y'all. This might be a little bit thicker, but that's alright. Now what you want to do, go to Effects and Presets and type in stroke. There it is, stroke. Click, drag it onto border, bang. Now it gives this white stroke. Now you might be asking yourself, maybe, if you're a student that pays attention in this class, why didn't we just go up to the color and change the stroke? Well, because we wouldn't have control over the stroke in the effects. If we don't add it as effect, we wouldn't be able to control the offset of it. And if you look here, you can see how it's offset. That's what we want, so we can have it come out like that. Alright. So, the first thing you need to do is the effect controls for stroke should have popped up right here. You want to change the paint style from on original to on transparent. Boom. And now we have a stroke that goes around. It looks like it's a little, I don't know if that's even all the way around. Whatever. You may be saying to yourself, does it really matter, Mr. Barr? Oh, it matters. It It matters indeed. All right, if we zoom on out. By the way, when you zoom out and you want to get to a specific point, just use this hand tool, and then you won't mess up anything. Okay, back to the direct selection tool. That's looking pretty good. So now let's start animating. If I, there we go. That's what it's going to look like, sort of, when it's animated. So let's go. Before we do that, before we get to that point, let's click on border, and we want to start messing with the start and the end here. So, and let's see. By the way, if you can't see this line, it might be because you're on third resolution. If I was editing in a third resolution to make things faster, it's not going to show up. So if I go in full, boom, there it is. All right, where was I? End? Yes. How do I get that off? I know. I want to toggle this off. Mask and shape path visibility. Toggle that off. See how it makes it easier to see? Okay. There you go. So let's make it look like that. We're going to make it 97. And then the start, we're going to make like there. Because that looks pretty cool. Maybe not. Maybe there. Alright. I'm good with it. I like it. I like what's going on here. By the way, you can make it thicker if you want. Alright. I'm good with that. So there's what we want it to look like when it's animated. And let's say we want that to be 1 second. So we're going to drag our playhead out to 1 second. And we're going to set keyframes for the start and the end. Let's get rid of this logo here. Let's hide it by that so we can see the lines. Anyways, now I'm going to go back to the start and animate this sucker. So if I drag the end down to like, I don't know, there, and then I get the start to go to there, boom. There we go. And now if I hit the space bar, ooh, that's pretty cool. Now, let's talk about keyframes real quick. Open up the border layer by twirling open this little triangle there. And then going to Effects, scroll down, there's Stroke, and it's going to show me the keyframes that I just made here. To make it look a little bit cooler, if I highlight them all, so click and drag this little lasso around all of them, right click, hit Keyframe Assistant, and click Easy Ease, or you could just hit F9. Basically what this is going to do is they're going to start a little bit slower. Let me Control Z that. Watch the animation again here. Let's just make that happen. So if you watch that animation, it just comes to an abrupt start there. It's really abrupt. But if I highlight these suckers and Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease, now watch the animation. Ooh, it kind of like slows into it a little bit. It's not so abrupt. If you want to make it even cooler looking, if you click the graph editor and you make sure that it's in, what does it need to be in? It needs to be in time, which it is. No, it's not. Oh, I need to highlight those keyframes. Graph editor. There it is. And now I choose graph type. That's it. That's it. I want to be in edit speed, the speed of it. Alright, not the value, but the speed. So what I'm going to do here is highlight these last two keyframes and take this little bar and slide it in a little bit. Just click, hold, and drag it in. Now let's watch it. Ooh. Starts out real fast and kind of gradually slides into it. Pretty dope, pretty sweet, pretty awesome. Okay, so get out of graph editor and we can close up that layer. Now let's animate these other two rectangles, rectangle and rectangle light. And to do that, I will go into effects and presets and search for linear wipe. Linear wipe. And I will click and I will drag that onto rectangle. And I will... Now, where did it go, you may ask? Let's get rid of the words, right? We don't need the words yet. So let's hide those. If you look now here, we have the linear wipe effect controls up here, and it's set for -90. So that means it's going to start over here on the left and wipe to the right. So if I click, right now it's at 100%. If I click and drag it to 0, you can see it's just a wipe. That's the effect. It's wiping, and that we can set which way we want it to wipe. Ooh. So we are going to set a keyframe for that. Go back to the beginning, and whoa, did I already set keyframes? All right, so we're going to go out here. I did set keyframes already. Or maybe it already did. Anyways, let's look at those keyframes. If I open up this rectangle layer and go to the effects, under linear wipe, it will show me the keyframes. And if I highlight those and drag them back to the beginning, and then click off, and I will drag this one out. That might be too slow. It's a little too slow. You know what? I was gonna ease these keyframes as well, but I kind of like the way that the line eases in, and that doesn't. It's kind of radical. So I won't do it. I just won't do it, man. All right. So now we got to do the same for the rectangle light, but we need it to go at a little different pace. So I'm going to, I guess I could drag linear wipe onto that rectangle, do the same thing, but easier way. Just click and highlight these keyframes, and I will go to edit, copy, and I will close up rectangle, and on rectangle light I will hit, whoops, rectangle light, I will go to edit, paste, and now I think, yes, it has happened. It has happened. But we want that light color to go first. So let's go back up to rectangle and watch this. I'm just going to take this layer, click on this layer, click, hold, and move it a couple keyframes, or a couple frames, I should say, not keyframes, to the right. Let's see what that does. Ooh. That's kind of coolio. It's cooliosis. That's a disease that you get when you're cool all the time. I have it. It's what I live with. Anyways, it's kind of slow, right? Maybe we should ease those keyframes in. I don't know. Maybe we don't need it that much. How about that, maybe? No. We're going to ease these in. We're going to ease in. We'll ease in these for this layer, but not the other one. So click, highlight those keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. Let's see what that looks like. Yep, I like it. I like it a lot. It's good. It's good. All right, there we go. So now what do we need to do? We need to animate, almost done here, peeps. We need to animate the text. Yes, let's do it, shall we? If we go, oh my gosh, there's so many for text. If we go into effects and presets and type in text. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Just get rid of that. And if you don't have anything here, just clear your searches and go to text. And then That's not it either. Where is it? Let's see. Oh, it's under animation presets. There it is. Animation presets. So the first thing we're going to do, let's do this drop in by character. That's what I used the other one. And we'll click and drag that onto follow us on Instagram. And right now you see it just popped it up to the top. Why did it do that, you may be wondering? Because that's where it's going to drop in from. It's called drop in by character, so meaning each letter, not drop in by word. So it'll drop in like that. But I don't want that to happen. By the way, we need to make a mask so that you can't see those letters dropping in. So what are we going to do? Let's do another mask, shall we? I hope this works. If I click and draw a mask around this text. There we go. Did it work? Yes, it did. Okay, so you just need to make another mask on that text. And we can change that mask so you can see a little bit more of the letters popping in. But anyways, we're coming from the bottom. I don't know why I'm doing that. Or do we like it coming from the top down? I don't know. I definitely don't like seeing the letters like in that little window. So what we're going to do is leave it like that. Now, when do we want to start that? It's way too slow, that's for sure. By the way, we can scoot this out a little bit. Way too slow. So let's go in to the effect. Patriots almost scored, by the way. Sorry, here we go. Text. And animator 1. And rectangle selector. There it is. We will take this and let's make it like that. Highlight them. Ease them in. See what that looks like. Cool. I like it. I'm good with it. You know what we could do is add a little motion blur to it. Right here, if you don't have these, I think you can right click on there and go to layer styles. Nope. I don't know, if you don't have those showing up, just let me know and I will find it for you. Anyways, let's put some motion blur on this. So that way when they're moving in, you can't really see it there, but there should be like a little bit of blurriness on that. You know what that reminded me of though, is that we need to put a drop shadow on this thing because it looks kind of silly like that. So we're going to go to the logo and search drop shadow. It's already up there. So drop shadow, and we'll drag that onto the logo. There we go. Now it kind of looks more like 3D-ish. And we have some controls here. Let's make the softness like 20, man. Soften that up a little bit so it's not such a harsh shadow. And that's good. And then if we want to duplicate that, Control D, and then have the distance of that thing be like 15, and then make the softness on that like 40. Now there's like a shadow on a shadow, and it looks pretty dope, pretty dopey. Alright, we have to animate the other. We have to animate the Studio 203. And we have to animate the logo. We're not there yet. What was the animation I used for Studio 203? Oh my. Oh my. Fade up characters. That was it. Yes, maybe. Hopefully. Fade up characters. Let's throw that on Studio 3 and see. By the way, you can choose any animation you want. Maybe it was slow fade on. Let's see what this is. Nope, that's it. That's the one. But it's too slow if I hit spacebar. Whoa, way too slow. So if we go into Studio 203 layer, text, animator 1, range selector, yeah. Oh boy, let's make these closer. That's kind of cool. You know what? They could just follow this little rectangle. So as soon as the dark rectangle comes on, like right there, we'll start it. And then we'll stop it right when it finishes. Cool. I think that light, I don't think that the dark rectangle is fast enough, by the way. Where's rectangle? Let's move that in. There we go. That's better. We good with it? We good with it? We're good with it. Alright, so now what we want to do is animate this logo. Logo. I wonder if I downloaded that thing. I wonder if in my downloads. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I will put this in the description. You could do it manually. Anyways, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. So to animate this logo, here's what we want to do. We're going to click on the logo layer and we're going to hit F to bring up the scale, and then we're going to hold Shift in and click on R to bring up the rotation. So we just want to look at those two things. Now what we want to do, like right about here, we want it to be at 100 and the rotation to be like that. So we're going to set keyframes. Boom, boom. And now at 0, we want this rotation to be at -90. So we want to kind of start like that, and then we want the scale to be 0. So it'll look something like that. And that's way too slow. So, whoops. Way too slow, right? So let's get these, bring them in here. It's a little bit better. We can start it a little bit later. Whoops, should have grabbed both of them. Okay, now if you notice on this one, we had that cool like wiggle. See how it wiggles a little bit? Now you can do that manually, and that would be a super duper pain in the butt. Like after you got here, you could hit page down a couple times to go 2 more keyframes, and you could over rotate it a little bit and make it a little bit bigger, and then you could hit page down a couple times, and then you could rotate it back here and make it a little bit smaller, and then page down a couple times and rotate it there and page down. And this is really bad. Like, I would take my time with this, but if I brought it back to there, I can't get it straight. There we go, and made it like that, however big it was, and then it would look horrible, but it would look like this. And then I would space these keyframes out. That was like a super quick wiggle there. Ooh, I kind of like it, actually. I'm not gonna lie to you. I won't lie to you. It's kind of dopey. If we sped this up, I might just leave it, y'all. Speed this up. Ooh. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna get rid of these anyways. Oops, not all of them. Just these. Okay, and then this is something that I found. There's no way that I would know this. But watching somebody do some animation, they gave me this expression. If I highlight that and right click and hit copy, and then hit Alt and click on the stopwatch for scale, it brings up the expression capabilities, and I right click and hit paste, and then I do the same thing for rotation. Alt, click on that and hit paste. There it is. It's that cool little wiggle. Now, like I said, I could do that. You could do that. But why? Why when it's done for you? Boop. I think that follow us on Instagram is still too slow. So I am going to go back and fix it. Follow us on Instagram. We're going to make it like right there. Okay. Still too slow. Cool. I like it. Are we done? I think so. Now, to make it go away, you would just go back in and animate, set keyframes to animate it going off the screen. But you don't need to do that right now, I guess. You know what I mean, though? Like if I went into the border and the stroke keyframes right there, and let's say at 4 seconds, I would set another keyframe for the start and end, and then I would go like there, out to there, and I gotta hide that logo because I can't see. There you go. So it's sitting there and then it disappears. And you would just do that reverse for the linear wipe, reverse for the effects that we put on the text so that they go away. Boop. Let me unhide that, and I will undo these because, and there it is. Boom. Follow us on Instagram, yo, Studio203. Alright, last thing that's very important, when you're exporting this, if I exported this, I guess I can try and do it real quick. Go up to composition when you have this layer highlighted here, composition, and I will hit add to render queue. Now if I just saved it as this, let's say Instagram lower third. My cat is laying on my back right now as I'm laying down. That's happening. That's a real thing. I should turn on the old webcam and show you, but I'm not going to. And we're going to save that to the desktop. So if I save that and then just hit render, if that was all I did, I would have screwed up. I'm showing you this on purpose. So there we go. Render it out, render it out, render it out. Cool, 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 cool. Now I go into Premiere and I want to throw that lower third in there. So where is it? Instagram lower third. And I double click on it and I drag it in here right after this Twitter one. Here's the problem, y'all. Oh, there's a black background. What's the deal with that? Well, it's because I didn't export it correctly. So what you want to do is I can get rid of this in the render queue and go back to my composition and go to add render queue. And then what you want to do is click on lossless for the output module, lossless. And under channels, you want it to be RGB plus alpha, like the colors, like these colors, plus the alpha channel. The alpha channel, that's good right there, right? Yeah. The alpha channel, if I toggle this transparency grid off, is this. That's the alpha channel, and this would be the RGB. Now, when I go to render queue, I can save it as Instagram lower. Please don't. I'm going to change this. Save, replace. It's not going to work, I bet you. Nope, it worked. Good. Then I render that out. Cool, 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 cool. Bling. And now I drop that into Premiere. Get rid of this guy. And bring that guy in. And now you're going to see it. There's our Twitter. Cool. By Instagram. Sick. Cool, 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 right? So there you go. I should make it the same size, yeah. I am going to make it the same size. Let's do it. We're going to click on Effect Controls. Bring that down to 100 or less than 100. Bring that over, and we need to make it smaller yet. Now it's going to look dopey. Supercalifragilistic XBL, dope-ish. Bye. Oh, sick. Alright, there you go. Lower thirds. Make your own. Make something cool. Or make exactly what I just made and be lazy. Whatevs. Alright, I'm going to continue watching the Patriots and the Seahawks game. There's 19 seconds left in the second quarter, and they're trying to score. The Seahawks are, that is. Wilson back to pass, being pressured out of the pocket, rolls to his left, now throws into the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown. Wow, 6 seconds left, and I just called that play for you. That was sick. Now they're showing Tom Brady and Bill Belichick disappointed on the sidelines. Touchdown Seahawks. Peace, everybody.